What's up, guys? It's Lord Both here with another video, and James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn is a flop. And not only is it a flop at the box office, it looks like the studio is admitting that it's a flop as well. This in spite of the fact that James Gunn firmly believes that it's not going to be a financial flop. Of course, he's well known to have said this in late July. From Culture Crave here on Twitter, James Gunn responds to fans' questions on whether Superman needs to make $650 million to break even. The way they get that mark, of course, is they take the initial production budget, which is said to be $225 million, times it by 3 to factor in marketing and theater cut, and they come out to about $675 million. So between $650 and say about $700 million is where this movie needs to fall to be profitable. With that 650 mark being the generous side of those numbers, and James Gunn responded the following: anyone saying that doesn't have an understanding of the film business, and we would be idiots to make a first in a franchise film that would need to make that much money to be profitable.
You are coping and seething.
And he is correct. Unfortunately, he works for Warner Brothers, the king of idiots, even bigger kings than Disney is. Need I remind you that Warner Brothers is so bad with their money that they had the #1 movie in 2023 in Barbie and the #1 video game in the industry in Hogwarts Legacy, and they still posted a $3 billion plus loss for the company.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And even then, we still have other people making stupid articles like this one from Screen Time. Superman hasn't beaten Man of Steel at the worldwide box office, but it didn't need to. Yeah, it kind of did, because Man of Steel came out in 2013. And I don't know if you've seen what inflation or the general economy has done since 2013 and now, but it definitely gives the impression that those numbers need to be a lot bigger than Man of Steel. And it just isn't happening. And I'm not a Snyder bro. I don't think that everything Zack Snyder makes is just a masterpiece. But the facts are facts and numbers are numbers. And if your version of the character and the movie can't make as much money as the other version of the character in a movie from over a decade ago, then yeah, I'd say that there's trouble. And what exactly is the numbers for Superman though? Well, right here. A worldwide box office of just under $580 million. And remember, according to basic filmmaking math that pretty much everybody follows in terms of trying to figure out how they're going to actually make a profit, this movie is still well off the mark of being profitable in theaters. And it doesn't seem like it's going to get anywhere close to that, because we're over a month of this movie being out and pretty much all the hype for it has died. Nobody's really talking about this thing anymore.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
To the point where I think Warner Brothers has also seen the writing on the wall when it comes to this thing and not reaching the profitability mark, because they have announced something today that will kind of blow your mind. And that is James Gunn's Superman will release on digital on August 15th.
Wait a minute!
That's right. After a month and maybe like a week in theaters, what was expected to be one of the biggest superhero movies of all time in the last 30 years is going to streaming after a month and a week. Now, I assume that this is going to digital in that it's going to be purchasable for on-demand streaming, meaning that you'll still have to pay money to actually view the film. It's not going to be free on streaming services, which is the only way that this makes any sense whatsoever, because then Warner Brothers can get a cut of that money to add to the cash that this movie brings in.
Hands up, cash out.
And hope to get somewhere close to that $650 to $700 million mark that this movie needs to get to. Because as much as James Gunn wants to cope and say that he doesn't need to get to that $650 million mark because of all the tax breaks and etc., the truth is that those are typically counterbalanced by the fact that these movies almost always wildly over budget. We've seen this time and time again with Disney alone, where their reported budgets were actually tens of millions of dollars off, if not well over $50 million or more off. And it has absolutely killed their profitability. And some movies that we even thought were profitable for them turned out to be barely break-evens or even flops. The point here is that James Gunn's Superman is now desperately trying to squeeze pennies to get to a break-even point that it should have easily made up if it was a really good movie and had a demand to run into something as late as October.
How can I get you to stay?
Money.
Yeah. We all want money, but there is none on the budget.
The worst part is, I think this points to an overall trend regarding superhero movies now. Because while James Gunn's Superman was not the greatest movie in the world, and there were parts both technical and story-wise that I did not like about the movie, it was an okay film. As I stated in a video a long time ago when we originally were discussing the numbers around Superman, and I gave a very brief review of the movie, my continuous thoughts while watching it were, this feels like a very good Superman 2, but not an actual first film in a franchise. It just didn't feel like that. Essentially, it was good, but it wasn't good enough. And the problem with superhero movies is that in the last 5 to 10 years is that they have built a reputation on either being absolutely terrible or good, but not good enough.
'Cause we're boring! We're so f***ing boring!
Case in point, Fantastic Four First Steps, which came out only 2 weeks after Superman, and from everybody that I have heard that has seen this movie, is a superior film, despite some of its controversial choices, female Silver Surfer and all, and it has made $435 million at the box office, on a budget of $200 million. And this is Disney, so we know that they went over budget, especially seeing that they had extensive reshoots on this movie, and there's almost zero ways looking at this that it is going to be profitable. It's already massively trending downward with an 80% domestic drop in its Friday to Friday and a 66% drop in its first week to its second week.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
And to put it quite bluntly, if people are what it seems like not interested in a Superman movie, they're definitely not interested in a Fantastic Four movie from Disney in which they've heavily modified parts of the stories of characters and characters themselves. All this points to an ill omen for superhero movies. There was a reason that the comics were popular and people followed the characters from those comics. Disney, Marvel, and Warner Brothers have strayed from the stories and characters of those comics. And that's both with infusing their own political agendas of those working for the company, both at a mid-level and high level in management, while also spending exorbitant amounts of money and yet churning out a product that looks incredibly cheap and rushed in a hope to spam the audience with content, keeping them engaged out of fear that people will move on to the next shiny thing, not understanding that while this is a TikTok generation, it's also the generation that listens to long form podcasts. As I've stated in many videos before, authenticity is the currency of the future. And there's nothing more authentic than telling a story that actually has meaning while also looking like you cared about the audience and give them something that is familiar and is not a new, fresh take on characters that have been established before. And the Fantastic Four have been established before. Superman has been established before. This is not to say that established characters will lose out to less familiar faces. In this post here from Nerdrotic, he shows a screenshot here stating that Supergirl is expected to beat Spider-Man Brand New Day at the box office next July. I have no idea where this, I think it's from Film Buzzer, is getting this idea. Maybe it's because Superman is currently leading the box office with 2 more weeks on Fantastic Four. I don't know, but it is a stupid opinion.
Oh, I'm not having this. I'm not having this. No.
Because the popularity of these characters is wildly different, especially with how it seems they're being depicted in their relative universes. But what's more interesting is that both Warner Brothers and Disney seem to be pivoting their marketing to promote Spider-Man Brand New Day and Supergirl rather than focusing on continuously promoting the success of the movies that they have in theaters right now. The truth is, we are in an era of superhero fatigue. We didn't used to be, even up to like a year or 2 ago. But now even good stories, I think, cannot save superheroes. Good characters cannot save superheroes. And there will always be an audience for superhero movies, but it will never capture the attention of normies like it used to, at least for a generation, if not multiple. In its place, I think, will come original, new, fresh ideas in both the horror and action genres, which seem to be some of the most viewed movies in theaters at this time. Meanwhile, Warner Brothers and Disney will still continue to churn out these massive budget projects before realizing, after taking loss after loss, that they just can't make superhero movies for the amount of money that they used to. And if their franchises are going to survive, they're going to have to get more grounded and tighter with the budgets. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave in the comments. If you liked this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it. We'll talk to you again later.